for the second match.
And just to see that again, that is the pick out of the first match. And I mean, Taka was really doing a good job on Van, but somehow they did not manage, like in the last team fight, they managed to kill Celeste very early, engaged on her, bursted her down, and meanwhile we had, I believe, Silly Smurf on Vox just stutter stepping and having resonance on the remaining 3 players of Team Van, and just, I mean, he just wrecked them, stutter stepped them down, and in the end they got the ace and pushed it down. So maybe not focus the Celeste in this case, maybe go for the Vox. Also to note, it's not the first time that we do see this triple ranged comp. Actually, triple ranged against triple melee again. We had that earlier in the first match between Red and what was the match Red lost? Let me check. It should
Red Prometheus versus Angry
yes.
Pandas.
It's not this one. It should be somewhere up front.
Yep, there we go.
So we had actually the same matchup. They played also Vox. That's interesting. They also played Vox, Celeste, and Adagio against Jewel, Taka, and Catherine. But the other team won. The 3 melees won against the 3 ranged. And I believe, and that was seed 8 against seed 1. And I believe that is due to the wonderful job of Angry Pandas earlier, hitting those stunts.
Alright.
And especially the jumps of Jewel.
Okay, so let's jump into the second match. We have the ban Silly Smurf now having the right to ban first, and that is Catherine once again. This is super interesting to see so many Catherine bans here tonight, both in Europe and in North America. Vaughn is answering that one with a Taka ban this time, so no Taka and no Catherine in that matchup. And the pick from Silly Smurf, the first one, is Vox. Vox not banned after such a performance here. Well, I would assume to see that, but maybe I was wrong.
Interesting choice is the Cath ban. Maybe they want them to force into an Arden, most likely.
I don't know. Can be. We saw that last time.
But that's getting quite tight for them now, seeing that they are picking Celeste and Jewel. They do have the Core Collapse with a CC, and they do have the obviously big red button if it is a Crystal Jewel. But if now Sillies picks Arden, well, I could see them picking Adagio again as a support. But not sure if an Adagio would work for Von at the moment as a supporter. So curious what the picks are. Yeah, they're coming in. Adagio and then Scarf, so there should not be an issue for the team Von. And I would say that's an Arden pick 100%, and nothing else would make sense. And there it is, coming in an Arden pick. So complete draft would be Vox, Adagio, and Scarf against Celeste, Jewel, and Arden. So triple range again for Sillies. We'll see if that will work out as good as it did in the first matchup. I'm curious. Looking forward for this, and obviously hope we are pushing it into a third match, since that is always the most interesting part.
Totally agree here. So let's jump into this second match of a best of 3 here in just a second.
Welcome back, guys, to game number 2 of the Sillies versus Vaughn. The Sillies are currently up 1-0, a pretty not ultra one-sided in that last one. It took a little bit longer than it did for Legacy Reborn to take out their opponent, at least in game 1.
Yeah, they did have a solid lead all the way throughout, but faltered a little bit at the end there. Maybe got a little bit too overconfident, but we will have to see. As another good pick ban phase for the Sillies. I think I'll put Fox in the jungle with the Adagio once again, and Scarf this time for the lane, basically just swapping the Scarf for the Celeste that Vaughn picked up. So I'm very happy to see Vaughn going with a more standard laner. We'll have to see how it does play out, and if Vaughn E can... Oh my goodness, I was watching the lane. What in the world just happened in the jungle?
It's just a 2-on-2 fight here. The stuns were landed onto Vox, actually, who jumped in, and the stun happened on top of a scout trap. So it looked like the Sillies were getting the better of that fight in the beginning, but Vox got totally knocked out there towards the end, and kind of just ended up being a 1-for-1 trade here.
And looks like they're continuing to fight over this lone minion. It does end up going over to the Arden. Meanwhile, up in the lane, where I had been watching previously, actually going very even, but Omar taking quite a bit of damage from the Celeste. Not too unsurprising. Celeste does have the ability to harass really, really heavily in the early game. But looks like there may be another skirmish down here in the bottom.
Yep, going for it, and this time it is 3-on-2. Mac Daddy doing a fantastic job of kiting, though, and here comes Silly Smurf desperately trying to pick up at least one of them, but the range of Vox looks like it's not going to be enough. Adagio will be able to pick up the Celeste, and now both members of Vaughn are very low as Scarf joins the fight. So once again, just going to trade 1-for-1.
Yeah, much better start this time for Vaughn. This is in the first game, they were down, I believe, 4-0 at one point. And so going even this time in the start, staying even in terms of gold as well. So significantly better first couple of minutes for them this time around.
Yeah, and they looked quite good towards the end of the last game, even though it seemed like they were a little bit too far behind to actually come back. But I mean, this team definitely has the ability, especially with not the worst draft in the world, to come back in this one. And another team fight is breaking out, actually.
Yeah, they're looking to go in. Von E is taking a ton of damage and will get picked up. And now Von C is just in the wrong position. 1v3 will actually pick up one of them to make it a 2-for-1, but it is still a 2-for-1 in favor of the Sillies.
Yeah, Celeste's not really able to do too much in that fight. Had to kind of back off, dying there as well. And now Arden just setting up more of these kills in the jungle. But again, not getting too far behind. Not looking quite like the last game, as we mentioned before. So should be more of an even one here going into game 2.
Yeah, definitely looking a lot more even. The gold is still, despite being down that kill, a very, very extremely slight gold lead for Vaughn as they converge in this middle of the map yet again.
Yeah. I mean, both these compositions have good, ability to just fight here 2-on-2, so it doesn't really surprise me just going at it over and over again. And we are seeing Mac Daddy B taking a little bit of extra damage, and so Vaughn is going to take control of this middle area for now.
Able to push them away, get some scout traps down. Of course, the gold mine not going to be a huge priority for at least a couple of minutes once it starts filling up. But right now, Von E doing a lot of damage to Omar. Didn't quite connect with that last heliogenesis, but that one certainly hit, doing a big chunk of damage.
Yeah, that supernova, though, doesn't really surprise me. Celeste really knocking Scarf out of the lane early on before Scarf can overdrive that Spitfire. But here we go, Mac Daddy taking a ton of damage, and the core collapse will land. And so Vaughn is actually going to pick up a kill there, make it 3-on-2, and it looks like they want to take out this gold mine as well.
Yeah, they're going to get that gold mine easily. Scarf had to recall back to base, so this will be theirs. 141 gold each. Not a bad payout. And of course, also giving the vision and combat advantage in the middle of the map if you can get the enemy to accidentally aggro that gold miner while doing one of these skirmishes that they've had about 10 of already.
Yeah. Omar eating a ton of damage here under turret, just sitting on top of the little I guess I'm not sure what you would call those little heliogenesis globe things that survive. I play Celeste all the time, but for some reason it's skipping my mind. But Celeste going for the kill here, lands the core collapse and the solar storm with the follow-up, so just a solo kill. Now Phoenix getting really deep here, taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's Mac Daddy also taking a lot though, and Vani will pick up that kill. Phoenix will go down in the end to Silly Smurf. But now Vani has to run away, having almost no energy left. But another good fight for Vaughn there, going 2 for 2 when everything was said and done.
Now, not so much energy left over here for Celeste, but is going to be able to safely farm under this turret after the 2-on-2. So definitely getting the better end of this fight, getting that minion wave coming down the lane. And Vaughn looking much better this time around. Actually has the lead now, up 600 gold.
Yeah, not a bad start to the game for Vaughn. As you mentioned, significantly better than in game 1. Looking really strong here. And they have a much better team composition, I feel, for this mid-game portion of the match. And does scale rather well into the late game as well. So definitely doing a bit of adaptation after the first game.
I want to point out so far, Celeste teams are 3-0, and this Celeste team is now ahead. I'm just going to say that. We'll see if they actually can clean this one up. They're actually going for a team fight here. Core Collapse just barely misses Mac Daddy. Von C was trying to go in there, and actually is going to go down to the Solar Storm, but now Silly Smurf really turning it on, able to take out Jewel. And both Phoenix and Vaughn are very low, and it looks like the Spitfire not going to be able to do enough damage, though, to Phoenix. Not going to be able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, Phoenix jumping in to give Von E the shield there, keeping both of them alive. But Von E needs to be careful, because a lot of damage can come out in a hurry from the Scarf and Arden, but it is going to be instead Arden backing off, and now Vaughn just taking advantage of that fact and trying to push up again on the Celeste. 70 to 63 in the CS there, so doing really well for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Celeste now actually hit level 8 and has the overdrived Heliogenesis. Hold that thought, there's a fight breaking out here. Big Verse of Judgment is going to land, and Silly Smurf, though, is going to be caught out. Scarf was not a part of this fight from the get-go. Celeste really able to collapse here, and the big red button not able to pick up the kill onto Mac Daddy B, rather.
Yeah, it's very, very close. Was able to just dodge off to the side. Nice Thunderstrike, just gonna clip Silly Omar and take a good chunk of his health out there, as they're continuing to just put pressure on. 8 to 7 now in favor of Vaughn, and that gold lead has increased to about 1,000.
Yeah, looking much better so far. But what I was saying before, Celeste hitting 8, just really able to control that lane now. We do have the Spitfire here overdrived for Scarf, so he's going to get a bit of extra speed, missile speed, I guess you would call it. Make it go faster there, so definitely can put on a bit of harass himself.
Yeah, of course, the overdrive for that Heliogenesis, causing it to have a massive range increase. And using that range increase already to get some harass onto Omar. The gold mine does pay out. Another 900 gold over to Vaughn there. And now they just move on down to the shop, say, all right, we just got a gold payout. Let's go spend that gold. Make sure that we are well prepared for the next fight when it does break out.
Yeah. Do see Celeste picking up an Aegis right after the Eve of Harvest as a second item, so really focusing on surviving here in these fights. Turret is going to be taken out here by the Silly Smurfs, and they are going to line up a big wait for it, but Vox is going to go down now. Mac Daddy B taking a ton of damage, maybe able to get away though. Celeste still on the chase, not able to land that Heliogenesis. And now we just have Scarf on the opposite side of the map, just desperately trying to get away here and chain up those Spitfires. Will he be able to take him out? Yes, he does. Jewel is going to go down, and actually Adagio goes down at the same time under the turret in the brush.
Yeah, so all in all, an advantage, I'd say, in terms of the fighting for Vaughn, but the gold, getting an extra 900 gold back for the side of the Sillies by taking out that turret, as well as just the map control, allowing you to push up further safer. So it's kind of a wash at the end of the day when you look at that full sequence. But
Yeah.
it has to, even though you're losing the turret from the mental aspect of the game, doesn't feel as bad as having all 3 of your heroes get killed.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But Silly's at least keeping themselves in this one. Not really a lead as we've seen in some of these other games. Huge Thunder Strikes coming out here by Von C, and now he's going to jump in. Solar Storm is going to go down as well, but here comes the Wait For It doing huge damage on the opposite side. Von C will go down, and Box is not done. Able to pick up Celeste, and now the Arden is going to go down to Omar, who is now currently the only one left on the Halcyon Fold.
Yeah, using that ace buff to regen and try and take out the gold mine, but not quite going to be able to do it. A little bit too much damage from the gold miner, but it will be, again, that ace being picked up and having to use the reflex block to ensure that the scout trap didn't kill him. That just goes to show just how low the gold miner was able to take Omar there.
Yeah, it really shows you the power of getting those minion candies on the gold miner. Unfortunately for Vaughn, it wasn't really helping them out through the early stages of that fight. Not really able to do that sustained damage over a long period of time. And that was exactly the fight that the Sillies needed to get back into this game. And now we see the gold total still slightly in the favor of Vaughn, but I mean, the Sillies are right behind them.
Yeah, it's down to 1,000 gold here, which is 300 gold or so per player is not that big of an advantage to have. So we'll have to see. They are moving in and looking for another fight. These two teams are so aggressive, looking for these fights in the middle of the map as they are trying to find each other here. Just constantly throwing out the poke scarf and Celeste. Just non-stop harassment. There goes the gauntlet. They're going in.
Gauntlet's gonna go down in a really big solar storm, but at the same time, Wait For It doing a ton of damage back. And the huge snipe with the big red button there, the tip of it able to take down Vox, and that should be able to push the Sillies back here.
Yeah, just barely picking up the box. Also doing a lot of damage to both Omar and Mac Daddy, really forcing them out of the jungle. I don't know how much they're going to be able to get off this. Obviously, they did keep the gold mine safe for another big payout from that, but they are going to push in onto this turret. So that's the key factor is when you win a fight, what can you take off of it? And right there, able to get the immense gold payout from the gold mine and another 300 gold each for the turret.
Yeah, that was really just all Phoenix, huge gauntlet to start that one up, and that was really the fight that Vaughn needed to once again secure a very slight lead. I would definitely still not call the Sillies out of it. I think this is going to be the first game where we're going to see that Scarf Celeste kind of matchup where the Scarf actually has a chance in this game, and we'll be able to do some great poking of his own with a bunch of the items that he's been able to pick up. Gauntlet is still down here.
Yeah, it's down for another 10 seconds. So is Big Red Button. Both of them will be up in those, just about 5 seconds here now. Phoenix is down to about half health, and that's not where you want to be for the start of a fight. So having to be a bit careful. They really need to land a little more poke of their own before going for an all-in engage. Some good scout traps being put down here by the Sillies in order to deter that engage attempt from Vaughn. Now that we're seeing a lot of the players hitting that level 12, It's really interesting to note where they decide to level up their abilities, but we're going to have to hold that thought because there might be a team fight coming up in just a couple seconds. As, both teams dancing around, just looking for an opening once again.
Yeah, Omar on this Scarf is doing a much better job of poking out the enemy team and not allowing them to engage as they do want to, with the Arden and the Jewel, of course. And so it's really extending this period where they're, Vaughn's not really able to take a fight here with this lead just yet. And it's allowing the Sillies to stay in here, farm up a bit more. It looks like Vaughn may have found their spot, though.
Yeah, they're going in. The gauntlet is down. Omar is locked outside of it, but he doesn't really care because he's Scarf. He has the range to attack inside. There's no kills just yet, but they are getting really close to picking up Phoenix. Vox chasing him down. Smurf will get the kill with that Sonic Zoom. And now they try and turn on to Omar. He does get stunned and taken out. That huge Thunder Strike with the crit chance now that it is overdriven. It does so much damage.
Oh man, Scarf just getting a little bit too far forward, and you can't really afford to do that at this point in the game. You take a decent fight there, you take out the Roam, you take out Arden, but kind of just getting a little bit too deep, and that's a bit unfortunate. They may have been able to put some pressure onto the Kraken, or at least wait in a bush, clear out the scout traps and stuff like that. They're still able to do a bit of that. Just because the other members were decently low, they were out of energy, but not quite as dominant a fight as they would have liked it to be.
And now I really actually may have to hold off because they're again dancing around each other. I do want to point out, I really like that scout trap that was just put down in the Kraken pit. It's so unlikely for an opponent to walk onto that exact spot where the Kraken is standing. It provides vision of that whole area, lets you know if the enemy is trying to start it off, and it's so unlikely to get popped. So you'll have vision pretty much the entire time, which is so important. It's one of my favorite things to do, is get a ward either there or all the way up in one of the two corners of that pit. It's just such a useful scout trap for the amount of vision it provides throughout, honestly, for most of the game. But here comes a gauntlet.
Yeah, it does go down. The reflex block of Omar is down, and the gigantic Solar Storm going to take out 2 instantly, and that is a clean ace here for Vaughn. And that's going to be an easy Kraken or turret or whatever they want at this point.
Yeah, 30-second death timers. That was a great gauntlet. It stunned up 2, and then the Jewel Rocket Leap taking out and stunning the entire team, leaving them all sitting ducks for that Solar Storm, and that was just an easy team fight win.
Yep. Also wanna point out something. Apparently, the Vox sold the Tension Bow and is now going Crystal Power, which is kind of interesting considering that they're essentially holding themselves into one damage type, but at the same time, you were talking about this before, that Crystal Power Vox is going to be a bit stronger later on. So it's kind of an interesting choice. They're saying, okay, this game is going very late game. Our Vox has fallen off a bit here. Let's change it up. I don't remember the last time that I've actually seen this.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, because if you look at the items on Vaughn's side, it's not even like they were really building armor to deal with it. Like there's no real defensive items built at all. So it's I mean, I understand selling the Tension Bow because the Tension Bow is such an early game item, but to sell it just to go purely Crystal Power is rather unusual.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We do have Phoenix jumping in once again, is going to get the gauntlet on all 3, but this time Omar does have the reflex block. Will he be able to set up anything? Von C getting very low, as well as Phoenix. And Scarf now just trying to do that poke damage, but it turns out Celeste is going to be the master of that poke in this team fight, and now Vaughn is pushing onto these crystal turrets.
Yeah, Vaughn's going to take one of these very easily. Scarf is able to clear out minions incredibly effectively, but will they be able to defend fully? There's a great rocket leap just going to push MacDaddy back into the team, but they do get enough damage. I thought he was going to get he got into the base, but didn't get enough healing to survive the heliogenesis. And now it is up to Omar to try and defend. He will pick up 1 kill and force the other 2 out of the base. So that turret is so incredibly low that they can really just regroup and push in, and just a couple of auto attacks will take that one down.
Yeah, that was extremely close for the Sillies. They almost lost that one, but Scarf with the hero hold for now. We'll see what they're going to be able to do from here, especially with the Kraken up and ready to be taken. One team fight that goes in the direction of Vaughn, and this game is over.
Yeah, it's going to be so tense here. I mean, the Sillies, they don't have to worry too much about it because of the fact that they do have that 1-game buffer under their belt. But, the later this game gets, team fights can go either way at this point in time. And, we've seen some really good team fights from Vaughn, but if the Sillies come out ahead on a team fight, then this game could easily turn the other way. Here it comes, big ultimates being put down.
Oh, man.
No one really falling. The Kraken is going to be picked up. Maybe, no, it's not yet. Vaughn is going to fall, though. Phoenix is now one taking a lot of damage. They have the full health Celeste coming in, though. MacDaddy doing what he can to try and stall and delay them. The Kraken was picked up by Vaughn, and now they take down MacDaddy, and it is going to be Celeste and Arden pushing into the base with the Kraken. That turret is so low, but Scarf is alive.
That was just unbelievable. Big red button able to pick that up, and look at this silly Smurf trying to make the hero hold, but is going to go down, and that's going to leave Scarf to try to do it once again. But with the Kraken at half health and the turret that low, this will be the game going to Vaughn, and we are going to a game 3.
Yeah, great job from Vaughn coming from behind in the series, evening it up and really having a significantly better performance this time around. And of course, game 3 means there will be no bans, no drafts. It is a full blind pick.
And that is fantastic. That's some of the most fun games are the ones where you just get to see these teams going for their best compositions up against each other, mirror matchups. It's gonna be very fun here for this game 3.
Yeah, so we're gonna throw it back over to Germany so we can get set up for this 3rd game. I have to expect that we're probably going to see a Celeste versus Celeste at the very least. So I'm really excited to see this, and we'll be back in just a moment.
All right, welcome back, and yeah, thanks